All right. Well, welcome to the Business Blueprint. This is the first time that I'm actually offering it in this setting. So normally I teach it within my program. So I am offering it just to everyone so that everyone can get the support that they need. I felt the urge to do this because December was uh, National Business Plan Month. And I realized, yeah, so many people do not create a business plan. And the reason why is because if you're not needing outsourced funding, most of the time we say, well, why do I need it? It takes approximately 100 hours to create a good, solid business plan. Now, I'm going to dive into this and really show you what are those core things that you really need to be doing and need to really put into a document for yourself so that you can grow your business, so that you can have a success map for where you're going. So often we start our business and we just do what we know, and then we get to this point where we kind of feel stuck. And so when we can at least create a business blueprint, which I'm going to explain what that is and how that's a little bit different from a business plan, I can show you how it can really help you. And if you don't have these things, you need to, because you are investing in your business. You are your investor, and you need to treat your investor self just as well respected as you would if you were treating someone else who was investing in your business. Okay. So this is a 1 hour workshop and it's to support your business success. And so when I say workshop, that means have a document open on your computer, have a notebook in front of you so that you can really write these things down and start to jot down some notes and start creating. So we create within a workshop. It's not simply I'm just listening to this lecture and I'm taking notes. I really want you to put your thinking cap on. I really want you to commit to doing this for yourself. All right. So, things that we are going to cover in this video, in this presentation, we're going to talk about the business plan. We're going to talk about this framework that I mentioned that you really need. And then you're going to start crafting your blueprint. So why should you listen to me? I feel like everyone should put this in their presentation. Why should you listen to the advice I'm going to give you? Well, first of all, I have an MBA. I went to business school. I've had to learn a lot about this stuff, but there's that theoretical knowledge and have I actually put it into practice, right? So many of us can talk about what we know, putting it into practice is a whole nother deal. So I actually had a full scholarship to a business entrepreneurship program at our community college because I submitted a business plan. And a business plan can be easy. There's a detailed version and then there's a simple version. A lot of times we just get so caught up in our own head of trying to be perfect and trying to get it spot on that we end up not creating it. So if you just get started, and I'm going to show you some tactics, some places to start to get started. And then for those who stay all the way to the end, and for those who have registered and RSVP'd to the event, I will be sending you something super special. It's a link to my ultimate business plan, and there's a financial aspect, and then there's the actual document, and there's a lot of plug and play that you can utilize to make it really easy on you as well. I've also been a business owner since 2013. I don't count all the years before that I had this failure after failure. I actually started a business in 2013 and it actually did well. And then I closed that down during the pandemic when it hit and just continued with my business coaching and my business consulting. And then I'm also a project manager in the corporate world as well. So managing projects and making things happen is what I do. All right. Who is this for? So this is for small business owners. I am not teaching this for the person who's already making millions. This is to help you get to the $1 million mark in your business. You can be a beginner, a startup, you could be more experienced, and you're looking to scale. All right. So maybe you have a draft of a business plan and you're wanting to get better, or maybe you are that business owner who has gotten started. You've already made some progress in your business, but you really didn't do the business plan, and now you're feeling stuck. So, the business plan is what you need to know what you're going to do each day. If your business plan, you take this high level view, I always think like Google. You've got the zoomed out view, and then you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in, and it's amazing how detailed you can get of those pictures that zoom up on your house. And I often talk about your business plan, your business blueprint in the context of building a house, because I think most of us know, because most of us live in houses. All right. So we are going to cover the necessities and the framework. So first, let me drag in. I really want to show you. Let me pull it up. I really want to show you a sample business plan, wherever that might be. Here we go. I'm going to pull this over for you. All right. Now we're just going to take a little scroll. All right. So that you have an idea of what I am breaking down and making more simple for you tonight. And I'll send you the copy of this as well. So within a business plan, you're going to want to have your cover page, your table of contents, an executive summary, who's going to be in the organization. And if you don't already have partners or people in the organization, then you're at least going to map out what those roles will be. A description of your business, your product list, industry background, competitor analysis, market analysis, a marketing plan, a financial plan. This is where a lot of people, it gets scary. Future plans and milestones, and then you'll have a resource page as well. All right. Now, who would you be presenting this to? Well, if you're going to be bringing employees on, and then hopefully at some point in your business, you are going to want to get funding to maybe do a training or take on a new project line or create a product of some sort. You can get that funding to do these things if you have this in place. But I also say again, you should have this in place so that you know that it's worthy for you to continue to invest time and money into your business, and that you're doing it in a way that's going to grow. Most of us have a side hustle and we're still working our 9 to 5. We want to leave the 9 to 5. If we're going to do that, we need to have a plan. For others, we may be quitting our 9 to 5 and jumping right into our business. We want to ensure that we're ready to do that and we have a plan in place. If we do want to bring on investors or partners or things of that nature, so that we can make our own dreams come true and success, you will need something like this in a business plan. That was a very light business plan as well. All right. So, what's the first thing that we really need to know? What's the first thing that really, really makes our business plan important? Profit. So many people go into business and the money is really an issue for them. And knowing how to break even and knowing how to generate profit. And the way I've broken it down, working with clients and also through my own journey as well, is noticing how we go from hobby to contractor to business. And you notice a lot of people get stuck in this contractor style plan where they have not developed their business plan. They're going out, they're making money, and it's very one-off. And we have to manage the finances like a business almost, but really we're just functioning as a contractor. When we really start to function as a business, it's to the point where we could remove ourselves from it and the business could still succeed. Or we could leave for 2 weeks and the business could keep going. So if you're not at that stage, then what you're really trying to do is pivot from being a contractor into having a business where you might have employees or contractors underneath of you in the business so that you can grow, so that you can scale, so that you can make more than just your own salary, so that the business begins to take on a life of its own. And one of those big things is services and products. Now, for some of us, we might think, oh, I don't have any products. I just provide services. And that's not necessarily true. You can have digital products, you can have digital assets. You could create a course, you could have a YouTube channel, you could have a PDF, you could have a quick how to. So, digital products still count. If you could package it up and sell it, then it is a digital product. Now, our services need to be packaged up in a way as well, so that we're not necessarily having a menu of items, but that we're offering transformations, that we're solving a problem. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one particular service. And we can get into that another time. So, your big question, you'll see it down at the bottom of the screen, is how will your business make money? So, in your notepad or in your document, write on there, how will my business make money? If you only have one service, that is not enough. Because I ask you, if your friend was going into business and they had one service only, would you invest in their business? Or would you be more likely to invest in a business and maybe the services and products aren't completely created yet, but you have that list of which services you're going to provide, which products you're going to provide? So let's say you own a web design company. With that web design company, you would list out the different services that you have, and you would list out the different products that you have or could create. Under those services, you might list out as well, are these done by you? Are these services that you can employ someone eventually to take over? And then we also want to look at these, and we would need to have mapped out for our own sanity as well. What is the break even on these? Now, for some of us, we're thinking, oh, well, it's purely profit because I don't have any cost associated with that for me to do it. And that's not true, right? We're working online, we have internet. You might have a scheduling service. You might have given yourself loans, and hopefully you've documented all of those that you need to pay back. So if you have taken a training, let's say you took a $10,000 training and you gave yourself that as a business loan to take the training, you need to pay yourself back. And technically, you could pay yourself back with interest if you write that up into a contract that you gave yourself a business loan at a, you could be nice, a 3% interest rate, a 6% interest rate, a 15% interest rate, as long as it's something that's comparable to the market if you were to go to the bank and ask for a loan. Okay. And anytime that we are taking out business loans and things of the such, we need to factor in that we're paying back interest. Okay. So List out your services if you haven't already been doing those. List out your products. You should have both. Why should you have both? Because you want your business to function without you or with a minimal version of you. You might even say, what are some services or products that maybe I could have someone create for me? That's okay. What are some services that, again, I could have someone do that would support the business that I'm establishing? Your business is separate from you. So business is something you birth. It normally takes about 9 months to really create a business, doing the plan, putting together the product services if you start from scratch. Just like a baby, when it's born, it can't take care of itself very well. It needs its parent to hold, nurture, and move it forward, but eventually it can become self-sustaining. And normally we get it around to that 12-year-old teenager, preteen, where it still needs a little bit of, hand holding to a certain degree, but you could leave them at home for a few hours by themselves, right? So you want to grow your business in that sense. It does not need to be you in your business every single day eventually. Okay. So products and services, you need a mix. All right. Now we're looking at the finances. You will need to know your finances, and that is one portion of a business plan, as I showed you. But what is it that we're really looking for? Well, we want to know that the business is actually going to make money. Again, so often we get so caught up in this break even, and sometimes we're stuck in break even and we don't even realize it because we typically avoid looking at all the numbers. Now, I will tell you, if it is just you, you can get QuickBooks for about 15 bucks a month. But you'll also need to sit down and have a little QuickBooks session on your calendar at least once a week so that you can continue to go through your finances and not get behind. Otherwise, you need to hire someone to work with you on that. Why? Because you're starting a business and your goal as the business owner is to scale your business as fast as you can and to make it as profitable as quick as you can. We're not going into business for ourselves so that we can sit around and twiddle our thumbs and just eventually let it just make money on its own. No, we have to put the time and the effort, and we need to treat it like a business, and we need to treat it seriously. So we're looking at our startup. And so often we overlook this going, how much time and money have I really put into my business in the beginning? It's fantastic if you can track this. Not everyone does. And sometimes we have to go back and kind of just rough draft it based on memory. That's okay. You can do the rest of this even without it. So knowing that it does take time to put together your business plan, it does take time to plan all of these things out, but you will get a very large return on that investment. It is well worth it. And I know this because I have a certification in project management. I work in project management all day, and we spend hundreds of hours planning our projects before we do them. And there is science to show, there's the statistics to prove it, that putting in that time and effort to put the plan into place has a much higher success rate. Much higher success rate for the project to actually succeed and to make progress and to move with momentum. Okay, so you need to have all of these put in place and theoretically walk through it, just like Olympians. They practice, practice, and they even do visualization exercises and visualize themselves doing all of it. And it really does work. Okay. All right. So you're looking at that startup, then you're looking at the break even. So you're saying, okay, I'm becoming an established business. I am at least breaking even, and I'm on the road to repayment. So I'm making not only break even for myself, but I'm also making break even for the business. Now, most people will tell you that your first year, you should not take any money from your business, that you should just work in your business and put it all towards growing. Now, I've been in this world and I'm going to tell you that that just feels impossible. So I always tell everyone to do 50%. That whatever you're making off of a client, if you're service based, that you're going to charge what you want to make, and then you're going to double that. Okay. So you personally are only getting 50% of what you're charging that client. The other 50% is going towards the business to pay for, you know, metaphorically rent, internet, scheduling tools, software programs, repayment plans, and then putting aside for growth and profit. Okay. Then we move into the scale. And this is the phases that we want to move through in our business. And we would need to have all of this written down. We would need to have this documented. How many clients do I need to be working with? What mix? What's the income that I need to be making to be in this level? And get a rough estimate of how many clients you would need. Then we move into scale where we're really looking at growth and profit. So we're paying ourselves back for those loans and we're making more than break even while we're climbing to the next level in our business, which you need to know. You need to have those milestones mapped out to what is the next level in your business. That might be measured by what employees you would be having, by tasks that you would be handing off, by investments that you would be making into the business, by new product lines or new services that you would be adding on. Okay. All right. So, what we can do is go ahead and write down in your journal or your notepad, virtually or physically. Calculate your startup. Write down break even, scale, and see if you can move your business in columns. What would you put under these columns? And so if you don't know these numbers and figures, and maybe you do, you're just like, oh, I just have to glance at a spreadsheet. That's good. But you should have a general number. You should know this because, again, if you're putting in about 100 hours and you've really made the time to do this, it wouldn't be a, I think I know. It would be, I know, because I've done the work. Like I know that I need a minimum of 19 clients per year for my one particular program. I know that is my goal for this year. So we would need to know what these goals are. Know what your next goal is. And when you do that, you will scale very quickly. This is something, vision and mission. I see so many people skip past because they think it's fluff. I skipped over it for a long time because I felt like it was fluff. Or I just couldn't make a decision on it. Now, what happens is this is not easy to do. I'm not going to tell you that it is. And I'm also going to tell you that these don't have to stay the same. But every successful business has taken the time to write their vision and write their mission. Every successful business is a very simple vision and mission, and they check in with it regularly. When I go into organizations, If an employee that's working there does not have a general sense of the vision or mission, there's a problem. The vision and mission allows us to connect to our brand. It allows us to have that strong foundation of everything that we're doing within the business. When you have this vision and mission, you have a clearer view of what your services and products are. Because you would ask yourself, does it tie back to my vision and mission? My phases of my business, my future goals and milestones of my business, do they align with my vision and my mission? These are your anchors. Now, your vision should change every 2 to 5 years, or whenever your vision has been accomplished, you would change it. Your mission statement generally stays the same, but you might tweak it here and there. Again, around the same time. You would have your vision and mission statement hanging on your wall. This is something you would practically want to have memorized. And I have here of what it is and what those definitions are. Now, the biggest problem that I see a lot of people do is they don't think big enough. So I want you to think really big. This is your foundation, your guidance for where you're going, where you want to be in 5 to 10 years of your business. So you could do a little meditation and you could sit in this meditation and you could imagine how you would feel and how your business would feel in 5 to 10 years. And then I would say, think bigger because most of us don't think big enough. Maybe you want to have an agency. Maybe you want to have a physical location. Maybe you want to have employees and you're taking your employees to the Bahamas once a year because your business is so profitable. And if these thoughts come into our minds, because I know that they do, these thoughts come into our minds going, oh, well, no one would pay that much for this. Yes, they would. I guarantee there's a business out there that does it. And you would know that if you've done your market research and market analysis. So when you do your market research and analysis, and that's why this is a big process that we kind of keep going back and forth and we tweak this, then we come back to that and we create alignment that you will then know how big you can go. You will then see what other possibilities are out there. And you'll see that some of these companies that are doing extremely well, you're like, oh, they're missing some of these core things that I do in my business. Fantastic. That's your differentiator. These are the ways that you're going to scale your business so quickly. And those are the things that you're going to focus on. And those are things you need when you do your market analysis as well. Okay. Marketing and sales. Let's talk about that plan, blueprint, playbook. Okay. Marketing and sales comes down to these three things. You need to attract, you need to nurture, you need to scale, or you need to sell in order to scale. Your plan is that big overarching, it's not too detailed of how you're going to do it, but it's detailed about where you want to go. So this is more of the map. Your blueprint is how you're going to get there. So a lot of times, and what I teach is the marketing and sales blueprint, is that we put in place the practices that we're going to do. This is where we could easily say, okay, this is my step-by-step play. This is, you can't build a house without a blueprint. You could wing it, but you need to have that blueprint so that you know where the walls are going, where the doors are going. Now, the playbook is more of the instructions, like how to hang the door, how to put the windows in, how to lay the floor. You could even go into it as far as like, where's the couch going to be? Like, how are we going to do these things and what is it really going to look like? So it goes from big to medium to very detailed. Now, most people are not going to have a playbook, but I say this because you need to be creating them as you go. You're going to be testing out your methods and creating systems so that you're not winging it all the time. I see people do this all the time. They wing it. They might have a plan, or rather, they have a thought that didn't get written down, but they don't have a blueprint of a more detailed version of a plan of how they're going to get where they're going to get. And they definitely don't create a playbook because they're not thinking about having employees. They're not thinking about having operations and processes. And if you would like to, let's say, hand off your sales, for example, you would need to have a script that they're going to utilize. You would need to have a process that they're going to follow to then get them booked with you. There's going to be onboarding documents of, okay, you're a new client. These are the things that you need to expect. This is where you can find resources. That would be more in a playbook. Your blueprint could be, how am I going to attract, nurture, and make the sale in an overall view? Again, then the playbook might be how to do sales calls, how to get them booked with me, something that you would hand off to someone else. Okay. You have to know how you're going to get clients. You have to know how you're going to nurture, maintain clients once you have them, because I think we've all heard that it's cheaper to get a repeat customer than it is a new customer. And I'm going to be talking about that more in our Start to Scale your coaching business. That's going to be happening. It starts on Sunday. And we'll be walking more through this process there. And then you have to have a sales process in how you're going to sell each one of your products. How do they actually purchase it? And how do they actually use it? All right, so let's talk about lead generation. Your business isn't going to go very far unless you have a solid system ironed out about how you're getting leads. And you're most likely going to need quite a few different systems as well. So we're going to look at networking and what systems can we put in play. Again, you might hire a sales team. You might have that you're messaging people on social media. You might have a lead funnel. You might pay for ads. You might be, again, doing something local with networking. You might have a referral. Hopefully, you have a referral system. But you want to list all of these out. And I put these on my calendar. I have once a month where I make sure that I go through all the local networking and online networking and I see what all is available. I sign up, register, put them on my calendars, and make sure that I am up to date for the whole next month. And by doing that, by having that system for networking, that ensures that I don't forget to do it. Then I'm also a member of like NAWBO, and I have on my calendar to make sure that I go through and I message and connect with those people as well. So we want to make sure that we have these systems in play to continuously follow up with our avenues of lead generation. Okay. So knowing how you'll get new customers and how you're going to get your repeat customers. This is essential for growing your business. And I see this all the time where people are struggling. How do I get clients? This is research that you need to be doing. And this is go out there, do market research. What are your competitors doing? What are people similarly as you in the field? What are they doing? How are they getting customers? How are they following up with their customers? It's not cheating to go and look and see what they're doing. It's smart. And you might find, again, as I mentioned earlier, you might find that there's some ways that they do that you're like, oh, that's really great. They should also do this. Or I don't like that. They should do it this way. So we need to go get inspiration and we need to document that. We need to create a plan because if all you're focusing on is the sales and you're sitting around waiting for referrals or you're sitting around waiting for something to happen, you're not being proactive. You're not finding out what works and what doesn't work. How are you going to get employees that can then implement those systems for you? That this is a necessity and this is how you will grow your business. This is essential for making your business survive. All right. And I already mentioned this, no surprise here. Processes on repeat. The more automation that you can make happen, the more beautiful. Now, some of us, we have to go through a trial and error to make that happen. And this is something that you definitely want to, at least in your business plan and business blueprint, is to say, I need a process for this. If you can identify where you need processes, you don't have to create the process right then and there, but you do need to identify where you need the processes so that you can begin to create that awareness to put more focus on, to do some research and allow yourself to create the process for that. And these are things that, again, if you know what you're looking for, you can go out on the internet, you can search these things. But if you don't know what you're looking for, then you're sitting around going, I don't know. I just need to get clients. I don't know. How do I get employees? How do I make that happen? Or you can do some really big trial and errors like me, where you get employees or a virtual assistant or whatever it might be, and you're like, I need you to do this. Can you figure out how to make this work? And they need direction because you're the CEO or owner or president or however you want to title yourself of your business. You're the one that's taking the lead. You're the one that has to tell them. Unless you get someone who is a consultant, coach, they're an expert in that area, which you will then pay more for them to create a process for you. You cannot just expect to bring someone on and them just figure it out. And I've worked in those businesses before where they're like, just come in, okay, figure these things out. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's a way higher salary range to figure all this stuff out for you. You just hired me to come in and do it. Right. So, same thing, empowering you. Charge more when you got to do more, charge more for more expertise. Okay. And others should be doing that for you as well. And we're doing that again for planning for our future team. An organization is a group of individuals organized into departments to carry out the roles within the company. So essentially, just like I say, you'd want to have someone that's in charge of marketing, someone that's in charge of sales, someone that's in charge of the strategic plan. We'd want to grow ourselves, and my goal for you all is always to grow you into at least achieving your first million in your business and to hopefully grow past that. So these are the essentials that you'll need to be developing. And these are for your own sanity, to step you away from just working the 9 to 5. I see so many people that leave the 9 to 5 to then step into their own business where they're working, if not 9 to 5, more. When we create our own company, we have to schedule the time to work on our business as much as or more than what we're working in our business. Or you can create a structure where maybe you don't want to be the CEO of your business. You can have that as a role that you want someone to come in and fill. I've seen that happen before as well, where it's like someone's like, no, I just want to do this in my business. I have this vision. I want to create it. I still want to be the owner, but I'd like someone else to be the CEO. I want someone else to be doing these things. I just want to do this. And that is okay too. So you get to choose because it's your business. You get to create it. You get to design it exactly the way you want. It doesn't have to be like all the models you see out there. All right. So this is the point where I'm saying, that's not my phone number, by the way. I just realized that. So you can email me at support@izzynally.com. And you can visit me at izzynally.com. That's more of my directory where you can click and find all my stuff is on there. You might have seen on a couple of the pages where it says Izzy Nally Marketing. That's where you can go to sign up for any of these events, which I'm getting ready to tell you more about. All right. So, things that we have coming up within the Million Maker Business Blueprint. Our programs that are coming up is packaging up your coaching offer. And if you are a service-based business or anything of that sort, it's packaging up those offers as well. And then we also have freebies and funnels and building your audience. So we have these on Tuesday nights, and package up your offer will be on Thursday nights. These are some of the offerings that I have, different programs. And then, as I mentioned, start and scale your coaching business. Again, this is service-based business as well. Is starting on January 8th through 12th. This is free, and it will have the replays available for a week. So you can still catch that if you can't attend live. Now, to continue with the business blueprint and the business planning, I also have strategic planning. And this strategic planning session is particularly around designing your business for your life. As I mentioned in this one, you need to make sure that if you are wanting to leave your 9 to 5 to create a business where you can take a 2 week vacation and you can work 20 hours a week or a 4 hour work day or whatever it is that you're craving, know that you need to plan your business to become that. I see a lot of people are like, yes, I want freedom. And then they end up setting themselves up to work 80 hours a week in their business and they can never leave it. So we need to get really strategic so that we can also utilize that strategic planning for our business blueprint and our business plan as well. And then I also have webinars that convert. So if you are like, how do I put together a webinar? How do I design these? What should I be doing a webinar on? All of that we'll be talking about on January 10th. And I do have a program that goes along with that one as well. All right. So some other offerings, I have the Start Your Own Online Business. It's an online self-study course. And then, as I mentioned, I have the Million Maker Business Blueprint, which involves all of those that you saw on that page. So I'm going to exit out of this. There we go. All right. So let me just bring back over this business blueprint so you can see it after we've gone through all of that. So the framework that I gave you today and really looking at that, we didn't dive in too much for time's sake on the market analysis. But when you're creating a business plan, I see so many people, they start getting all caught up in the design and making it fun and all this stuff. Executive summary, all these things look a little overwhelming. So what I recommend is go through this just as I talked about today. What was the first thing that you really need to know? So let's go back just so that we can do a little review. Business profit. How are you going to make money in your business? You're not a hobby anymore, and we're wanting to move out of contractor and into business status. We need to get really serious about how the business is going to make money, not just you, but the business. So if you are wanting to make 200,000 a year, then your business is going to need to be making 400 to 500 a year. So when I see a lot of people are like, how much money do you want to make this year? I want to make 100,000. Okay. And I start saying how many sales you need to make. Like, no, I just need to make 100,000. No, no, no. Your business needs to make 200 to 250. You want to personally make 100,000. Okay. So we have to project, we have to think bigger. How will your business make money? You need multiple revenue sources. You yourself should not invest in a business that does not have multiple revenue sources. As you are drawing out these plans, this does not mean that you need to create all of these things right now or this year, but you need to have a plan for it and you need to know what you're working towards. You might also find that you partner with someone, you barter with someone, you go on Fiverr or something, and you can get some assistance on some of these things as well. Okay. Again, we're looking at our startup, our break even, and our scale. How can we break these down into phases? And how much time are you allotting yourself in these different phases? These would be your different milestones that you're going to accomplish that are going to move you through this. This doesn't have to be permanent until you're ready for it to be permanent, but you should be working on your vision and mission statement. You need a plan, you need a blueprint, and you need to be working on a playbook. It is super essential for you to know where you're going to be getting your customers from. I would say if you don't know this, then you are not fully in business. You need to be knowing where you're going to be getting your customers from. And one of the ways that we know that is who our target audience is. If we are not sure who our target audience is, we're like, it's just anybody that has this problem. Well, you could say, okay, there's these 3 different target audiences that may have this problem, and they're the ones that I'm going to go full force after. Okay, I was working, one guy was in our group at one point, and he worked specifically with therapists and creating websites for therapists. And by doing that, he had a nice referral system and he knew exactly who he was going after and where he could find them. And so we got him to do that instead of trying to chase everyone. And it turned out very beautifully for him. Okay. As we're doing anything, we need to be thinking, is this repeatable? How could I write this down and document it so that I could hand it off to someone else? Because I do want to build a team. I do not want my business to be solely reliant on me. Otherwise, that just keeps me stuck as a contractor. Okay. And again, the MMBB or the Million Maker Business Blueprint includes all of this. And you can get started and learn more about it as we go through and starting to scale your coaching business, service-based business. Again, we have other items that you can drop into. And then I have the online course. That's our new self-study course that's starting up soon. And that will be available. So people start asking, they're like, what's the prices on these things? Is it super outrageous? No, I try to keep them pretty comfortable pricing. So in the MMBB, this is a group setting, but it's very small group. So I don't have any more than 15 people in one group. And then with like package up or offer, we go through each person's offer, we talk about each one, and then when anyone's getting stuck, you can get 1 to 2 personal coaching sessions during that to make sure that we look over your offer and make sure that it's ready and good. Same thing with freebies and funnels that we'll be going into as well. We're helping you craft those freebies in these small group settings so that we can give each other feedback rather than just getting lost in the weeds. Okay. And the MMBB, that's a really great payment plan. So it's $4.95 a month, or you can do 5,555, so 5,555. I know I made that mouthful, for a whole 12 months. And it's a 12-month program as we go through all of this. Okay. Now that I gave you my spiel. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sending, like, where's it at? I don't know where it's at on my screen. So I'm going to be sending you all a link to a Google folder. I'm going to stop the share so you can see me. So I'm going to be sharing you a link to a Google folder. And in that Google folder, there's going to be 2 documents. One will be an Excel file, and one will be like a Word document style. The Word document has where you can fill in the blanks, and it has like some tips and tricks on how to replace everything. And then the other one is going to be the finance document, and they go hand in hand. You will find that creating the business plan, and it's called the Ultimate Business Toolkit. Um, Again, it's projected that it takes the average person about 100 hours to do that. So, in order to make that much easier on yourself, go through what we talked about tonight and make sure that you can outline that. There's such thing, and you can Google it. It's called a one-page business plan, where most of the things that we covered tonight should be on there. These are the bare bone basics that you should know as you are investing time and money into your business. I know I do. I invest tons of time and money into my business, especially when I started. I felt like I was spending more on my business than I was making. And that's why we need to have a plan. We need to have the path out of that. It's like Dante's Inferno, moving out of the dark forest. We need to know when we're going to climb and when we're going to be comfortable, how we're going to get out of our own darkness. These things are also really fantastic because we all have them. I still have them too, where we have those days where we question everything we do. And we're like, who is my target client? And what is the plan? What is the next step? What am I supposed to be working on today? And you have this beautiful resource that you can go back and you can read. And you read and you're like, wow, I was really brilliant. And it's quite beautiful, and it's a fantastic resource to keep you going and keep you motivated. That being said, um, we've already had this past cohort that just finished up in Package Up Your Offer. They're already working with each other. And we've got someone who's a graphic designer, we've got someone who's in fitness, and they're exchanging services. They're finding out how, oh, we've got the same target market. Let's funnel each other through each other's funnels. So by being in groups like this, it can be extremely beneficial and collaborative and growth as well. All right. So I'm going to open up for questions. Does anyone have any questions or comments? It was a lot. You're like, I don't know. That's overwhelming.
Oh, great job, Izzy. It was awesome.
Perfect. Perfect. All right.
Thank you, Izzy. That was very illustrative. That was great. It was great. Can you repeat the part where you talk about your fees for this late,
Yeah.
the
For these
12 months?
programs, the 12-month. Yeah, so
Yes.
I'll type that into the chat as well. So the MMBB, because Million Maker Business Blueprint is like, it's a lot. So that one's, and it's a really good price. It's 5,555 for the whole 12 months. The payment plan, as I'm typing, is $495 a month. And I will tell you, I've done the market analysis for my business, and generally the people that with my education, my experience, especially in the corporate world, working with individuals, are charging anywhere from 10 to 25,000 for 6 months to work with them. Of course, they've got like all these additional coaches that generally are working with you. Okay, thanks, Jay. Thanks for coming. Um, it's it's quite interesting because I've joined some similar to those in the past, and you don't get the same hand holding and feedback that I like to offer. And that's exactly why I do what I do. I wanted it to be affordable for the average person, and I also wanted to make sure that you're getting the feedback that you need as well.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. Well, I have recorded this, so also I will put this on YouTube. I know you missed the first part of it, so you'll be able to catch the first part again too.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
No, no worries. Life happens.
Yes, I already signed up for the Facebook group, and I'll just go there and continue the exploration.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.